Welcome to the shooting show. This week we're in Scotland with goose guide David Virtue. Plus we head south with celebrity gamekeepers Geoff Garrod and Paul Childerley on the hunt for Chinese water deer. Today we're back north of the border goose shooting with top guide David Virtue.
You know, see that one there?
Heard it. No funny.
He was right in.
Yep.
You'll be quick in the morning, if it's cold, we'll be in early.
With decoys and hides to set up, dawn is late in coming and the team have to work in almost complete darkness. Today David is experimenting with a few different kinds of decoy.
Try this time.
Oh, brilliant.
So they're any good.
With the scene set, the group can now start building their hides. An awkward wind isn't helping their efforts, but adding plenty of foliage and camouflage cover is vital to hide the expectant fowlers. Geese are sharp-eyed and anything out of place will put them off the decoys. The wildfowlers stoke up their shotguns and settle into the hides to wait for the birds. With everyone prepared, David begins to call to some distant geese, while the rest of the group wait in eager anticipation. The first skein heads over, but the decoys don't tempt them in. David watches them disappearing into the distance and quickly rearranges the decoy pattern. One of the team will be shooting with a particularly special shotgun. Mick Hurd has brought his muzzleloader.
Come on, boys, run!
Mick and his muzzleloader drop the first bird. The other shooters are keen to contribute a few birds to the bag. With 36 grams of Ely Alpha Max No. 3s, these potent shells are needed to ethically shoot these hardy and well-feathered geese at sensible ranges. David decides to reposition the decoys once more, in the hope that it will draw the distant geese into the guns. But the goose pursuit is far from over, and David quickly resumes calling to try and bring in the high birds. A wing of golden plover breaks up the waiting game, and the fowlers marvel at the wandering wader's impressive aerial display, but they are gone before a shot can even be considered. Prepared for any sudden influx of geese, the shooters sit it out and wait while David continues to work the caller. A small, low-flying skein catches the guns off guard, but they manage to add another one to the tally. David and his trusty lab collect some of the fallen which have landed on their backs and could put off any further incomers.
Everybody's had a goose, haven't they?
I know everybody's had a goose. Well, there's two to pick, I think, over there. I saw blooming crow landing on one over there. I'll try and get that. But if they're coming like that again, just take them out in front.
Take them in front.
But the day isn't over yet, and there's still plenty of activity in the skies. The waiting pays off, and another 3 geese fall to some straight shooting. Ready in the wings, David's dog is eager to take the starring role once again. With the goose flight in about over, we catch up with Mick Hurd and his antique black powder beauty.
She's an old lady, and I like to bring her once a year with me to David's, and I normally fire the first shot of the day with it, and this morning was very successful.
Yeah, you bagged the first goose.
The first goose of the day. So although it's probably 4 or 5 times my age, it still does the business. It's a muzzle loader, so you have to put the ingredients in one at a time: powder, wads, shot, card over the shot, and a primer, and then you're ready to go. And I suppose that goose this morning was taken out at maybe 40 plus yards, and that was dead as a dodo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So very satisfying, terrific sporting shot. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful father-in-law who was a gunsmith, and it came into his shop and I said, if there's any chance that I can have that one, I will. And he restored it into its present state, and I've been shooting it ever since. I've had it for about best part of 40 years now, and it's not for sale.
While packing up, David reflects on how the goose shooting season is going and how the fowlers shot today.
A lot of pinkfeet. They were a wee bit late to coming this year, but there's big numbers coming in now, and weather's still mild. It could do a wee bit harder weather, a bit colder and maybe some wind, but no, it's season's going quite well. We seem to have good numbers of pinkfeet everywhere. The breeding season seems to have done well, and the greys are just starting to show in now as well, coming in for the north. So it's been quite good. The decoying's been fairly good, but a lot of the geese have been coming in big packs, and you have to take your chances when they're there. So it's been difficult a wee bit in that respect, but I think as the season goes on, it gets colder and that, and I think they'll be on to winter wheat and winter barley fairly quickly this year. It's a strong crop. There's not a lot left in the stubbles. I think they'll be feeding fairly soon. I think overall they did all right, the 2 or 3 days they had.
It's another new day in the borders, and David has some more shooters looking for a successful day's goose decoying. The area is bustling with activity as hides are erected, ammunition cached and camouflage coats donned. As the sun rises, the field of decoys present an enticing pattern, sure to draw any overhead geese. Final touches are made to the hides before the team hunkers down in anticipation. The first skeins seem uninterested, and even a singleton turns away, but it's not long before David's calling works and a skein swoops into the deeks. The experienced fowlers pinch a few out of the sky before the skein heads away on the wind. Another quiet period follows, watching the clouds roll past, interspersed with high-altitude geese flying teasingly overhead, but well out of range. Breaking the solitude, a solitary flyer is brought down. A stealthy dash from the hide sees the upturned goose retrieved before it can scare off other prospective browsers. This large flight doesn't look interested, but it's not long before another skein looks favourably on the decoying field. The action keeps on coming, and the wildfowlers wait until just the right moment before bringing down an impressive number with some nifty shooting. When the final birds have been collected, David and the boys tally up the results of a very successful morning's goose decoying.
They do a lot of wildfowling, don't they?
A lot of wildfowling. You know, they know what they're shooting, and they can get this all well hidden, and they're used to being tucked in. And you know, with a lot of guys, if they're shooting pheasants, driven pheasants and that, and they come up maybe once a year to shoot geese and things like that, it's a different thing getting tucked into a hide and trying to keep your head down and everything else. It's just very difficult. What's the score then, lads?
24 pinks.
24 pinks.
Mallard on oxygen.
Mallard and oxygen. The mallard was the shot of the day. 60-yard shot. Very good.
I did. Some heavy birds here, isn't there?
There's some big birds, there's some young ones, but there's some big ones with it.
That's a head shot, isn't it? That's where I want to be shot, isn't it?
That was caught up front.
David Virtue once again proving his mettle at the geese there. And now, the Shooting Show news.
This is the Shooting Show news. Big brands have signed up to the British Shooting Show 2014, with more than 300 exhibitors lined up. In its second year at Stoneleigh and its first as a 3-day show, the BSS will see big gun brands in attendance, including Krieghoff, Caesar Guerini, Blaser, Bergara, Anschutz, Beretta and many more. That's not to mention a full lineup of optics, ammunition, accessories, knives and gun-making areas. Get advance tickets now from shootingshow.co.uk. Deer numbers are soaring, while rabbit, hare and fox fall. That's what a new study published in the European Journal of Wildlife Research says. Few will be surprised to learn that muntjac populations have grown by 180% in the last 18 years, with fallow growing by 89% in the same period. But rabbit numbers dropped by 48%, mountain hares by 43% and fox by 20%. More deer news in Sporting Rifle magazine. BASC's Taste of Game campaign is stepping up a gear. The campaign, which aims to get more of the public eating game meat, has a new logo and is taking to social media to share recipes from the Taste of Game chefs. Taste of Game's development manager Annette Cole said British game is wild, healthy and local. It can be enjoyed all year round, and through the campaign we will aim to show just how easy it is to buy game and to cook it. For more information, visit basctasteofgame.org.uk. The RSPCA has been accused of using the courts for naked political campaigning, following the collapse of another criminal prosecution involving a hunt. The charity dropped a charge against Ledbury huntsman Will Goff after a prosecution based on covert surveillance evidence collected by the League Against Cruel Sports. It is the fourth failed RSPCA prosecution this year. The Countryside Alliance described the case as nothing more than harassment dressed up as legal process. And finally, the badger cull trial in Somerset has narrowly missed out on its target. DEFRA said it had resulted in a population reduction of 65% in the cull area. The quota had been 70%. DEFRA Secretary of State Owen Paterson said the cull would deliver clear disease benefits when carried out over 4 years. The second pilot cull in Gloucestershire will continue until the 18th of December. That was the Shooting Show news.
We're taking you back to Bedfordshire, the heart of water deer country, as world champion kickboxer and keeper Paul Childerley takes NGO Vice Chairman Geoff Garrod out for his first ever guided foot-stalk.
They've come down further than I thought.
Preparation is key for pigeon shooting guru Geoff, who is more used to hanging out behind a hide than creeping up on an Asian invader.
I've never shot anything stalking up. It's the first.
So, first experience, is it?
Yeah.
So Geoff, your first outing at Chinese water deer with Mr Childerley there, the Bedfordshire Ninja.
Yeah. It's the first time I've ever actually stalked a deer.
What, guided?
Guided deer.
You've done everything yourself and learned on the job before?
Exactly. All the stalking I do at home is all from high seats, and so I've never actually took a rifle out and walked and stalked a deer. So it's been a big experience, nerve-wracking, but thoroughly enjoyable.
Do you want to get up against that ash tree? Up here, on your right. Get up against that.
It's something it was completely different to what I expected, to be honest with you. I've been used to sort of like fallow and muntjac, and with the fallow, if they spotted you, gone.
That'd be a reasonable shot from there. Flash. Get on there, okay.
See them, spot them, get a good idea where they were, and then work to help the stalk, you know, and sort of walk around with them, not in sight all the time, but you had a good idea, you know, so that was different.
Get your back against that tree and on these sticks.
Yeah. You know, it's different. It's very different. You know, like I say, only being used to muntjac and fallow.
Yeah.
It's a different aspect to it. So something which I'm glad I've done. I've enjoyed it.
That's good.
Geoff's taken to foot stalking well and is soon in position with a suitable buck identified. Paul guides him onto the right animal, carefully and calmly issuing instructions on when to take the shot.
So that ridge line. Yeah. And then when he gets level with that oak tree at the back, yeah, and then we'll take him.
The buck presents itself broadside on. It's all down to Geoff now.
Okay then. Yeah, okay. Then come good and take him.
It's a good shot, and although the deer skips off, it's technically dead and collapses after a 60-yard dash, much to Geoff's understandable relief.
Morning, Geoff.
Thank you, Paul. No,
never,
pleasure.
never been so nervous in all my life, mate. Thank you very much.
It was great actually to get a fellow gamekeeper out in the field and put a bit of pressure on him, see how he performs, because he's an ace crack clay shot, and with a rifle in his hand I think the pressure was on him. Well, Geoff,
Yeah, lovely.
that's your first
First Chinese.
Chinese water deer.
Certainly is.
I was quite amazed that it was his first actual guided stalk.
Yeah.
So everything else is learnt on the job and shot from high sights.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. Yeah, it was. I was quite surprised at that actually. Yeah. Yeah, nice buck that is. Both tusks,
Yeah.
no chips.
How old would that be?
It's only a young buck actually.
Yeah.
But with the young bucks, their tusks will go up right up into the top of the gum.
Right.
Well, right up to the top of the skull here.
Yeah.
So actually, that'll pull and that will still score really well. That would probably go, I'm guessing, but I expect that will probably go a bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a medal, believe it or not.
Right.
Basically, it's been a great season all through. Really, we shot a lot of deer this year. Took out some from certain areas where I needed to, and I had a bit of surplus just in a couple of spots which was starting to do a little bit of damage on the crop. So I thought, give you a call, one or two others like friends of mine, and we can have a last minute cull really.
Well, it all went to plan.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. The weather held off, and it was a great day.
This week's show is dedicated to all the British and Commonwealth servicemen that have lost their lives since the start of the Great War almost a century ago. We shall remember them.